Hello, Rama Pupoda. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with the next devotee, Annamalaiswami. Fire is a very significant symbol. Its nature is twofold. As heat, it can destroy, and as light, it reveals. Bhagavan is the Jnana, Agni, the fire of Jnana. He destroys our destiny and reveals the light of wisdom that is already there in each of one of us. This twofold operation of His grace can be most vividly seen in the life of this remarkable devotee. His name was Chella Perumal. When he was born, his father had his horoscope prepared. It predicted that Chella Perumal would become an ascetic, a sadhu, and that he would not lead a family life. His father wanted to prevent it, so he did not send Chella Perumal to school, thinking that if he studied, he might chance upon some spiritual text which would influence him to become an ascetic. Being a farmer, he started taking his son to his paddy fields, always keeping him by his side with this one pointed aim that he should not study anything. But Chella keenness in learning was so intense that he taught himself how to read a full word through slowly reading every alphabet in that word. Throughout his life, he had this gift of perseverance, not interrupted by failure. One day, while going with his father, Chella noticed a few sadhus dressed in ochre robes. He was so fascinated that he visited one of them on the sly and started studying spiritual books. There was also a lady in the neighboring village whose pity drew him. This lady took him to her house and gave Tamil books on Advaita like Kaivalya Navanitam, and as she could not read, she asked Chella to read and explain these texts. When he started reading them, though he had no prior knowledge of any Vedanta, some power from inside made him understand and explain everything, albeit in a childish way. Soon, at a particular time every day, he would run away from home without his father's knowledge to this lady's house, read a particular spiritual text, and then explain it. His spiritual talks started attracting the woman's neighbors. In a matter of a few months, his talks had become so popular that the pious woman invited him to stay in her house. The next 6 years, he was away from his father, and it was a golden period for Chella Perumal. He started wearing sacred ash and rudraksha beads, prostrating before pictures of deities, and meticulously following traditional religious practices. One day, when he was giving a spiritual talk, his father came stealthily in. He was stunned on seeing his son's transformation, but he still not encouraged him. Despite that, Chella was determined to become an ascetic. Though only a teenager, he took sannyas, and because traditional people would not initiate him into sannyas, he did it himself. When he came back to the village, some of the villagers, noticing his greatness, started helping him. Inspired by the late and famous saint Ramalinga Swamigal, who thought that one should serve humanity, he started giving water from an earthen pot to travelers in summer. Soon, he was distributing gruel to the poor from a small hut that the villagers helped him build. However, though his mind was bent on helping others, he continued his religious practices. One day he came to know that the Shankaracharya of the Kanchi Mutt was coming to a neighboring village. When he went to meet him, The Sankaracharya told him, "Come to the next village, I will meet you." He went and met Shankaracharya there and begged for spiritual guidance. The Sankaracharya gave him the mantra Sivaya Namaha and asked him to chant it 100,000 times. Soon after this, a wandering sadhu gave him Bhagavan's book, Upadesa Undiyar, 30 verses of instruction in Tamil. On seeing the photograph of Bhagavan in it, he was certain that this was his guru. He knew nothing about Ramana Maharishi, nor could he understand Upadesa Undiyar, but he felt that this was his guru. So he went around the village proclaiming, "I have found my guru, and he is in Tiruvannamalai. I have to go to him." The villagers, knowing that he was a sadhu with no money, gave him some for his journey to Tiruvannamalai. Just when he was to leave, he came to know that the Kanchi Shankaracharya was once again camping in a neighboring village. By this time, Chelaperumal knew that this was the same Shankaracharya who had sent Paul Brunton to Ramana Maharishi. He went to the Shankaracharya, prostrated, and requested him, "Please bless me. I am going to Ramana Maharishi." The Shankaracharya gave him sacred ash, 11 silver coins, and blessed him, saying, "You are going on a good errand. Go." Thus, in 1928, at the age of 21, Chelaperumal came to Tiruvannamalai. On his way to Ramana Ashramam, he saw a big crowd around a small mandap. He asked someone the reason for the crowd. The man answered, "The Siddha Purusha, Seshatri Swami, is inside the mandap. The crowd is waiting for him to come out and give them his blessings. You can also go see him and receive his blessing." Chelaperumal, peeking through the crowd, saw Seshastri Swami inside with a laddu, an Indian sweet, in his hand. The crowd, because of the awe and respect it had for the Swami, was afraid to go inside. Chelaperumal, not having any previous knowledge of the Swami's reputation, went in and prostrated. Seshatri Swami took the laddu near his mouth and then threw it at the crowd, all of whom took it as prasad. Then, turning to Chelaperumal, he started abusing him. "You fool! Why have you come to Arunachala? Why have you come to Tiruvannamalai? What is there here for you to come?" Shocked at this outburst, Chelaperumal beat a hasty retreat. Fortunately for him, a sadhu standing outside stopped him and reassured him. Seshatri Swami is a Siddha Purusha who blesses true abuses. When he says, "You fool, why have you come to Arunachala?" it means, "What a great person you are to have come to Arunachala." And "What purpose have you come here for?" means that whatever purpose you have come here for will be fulfilled. Reassured by this abusive blessing, Chelaperumal came to Ramana Ashramam. When he entered the ashramam, he saw Bhagavan walking down from the hill to the old hall. After washing his feet, Bhagavan entered the hall. Chelaperumal was thrilled. Before he left his village, Bhagavan had appeared in a dream in which he walked down from the hill, washed his feet, and then entered the hall. Look at the beauty of the Lord accepting this simple man. As he entered the hall, Chelaperumal noticed that he was alone with Bhagavan. He placed a small packet of raisins that he had taken with him before Bhagavan, and with emotions welling up in profuse tears, prostrated to him. When he got up, he saw Bhagavan eating the raisins. For Chelaperumal, it was as if Lord Shiva himself was accepting his offering. For nearly 15 minutes thereafter, Bhagavan directed his glance of grace on him, and Chelaperumal was thrilled. When, many years later, I asked him how it felt, he replied, I felt a wonderful coolness pervade my body, as if I was immersing myself in a cool pool after being outside in the hot sun. The beauty is that his first experience of Bhagavan's grace had a connection with what he was going to do during his future life in the ashramam, work in the hot sun. After this, he went up to Chinnaswamy, the Sarva Adhikari, to request him to assign him some work. He was told to go into the hall and be an attendant of Bhagavan. Thus, he got this exclusive opportunity of not only being with Bhagavan but also serving him. Bhagavan himself named him Annamalaiswami, which is significant. For instance, Bhagavan used to call his brother by his family nickname Pichai. Even after he took sannyas and changed his name to Niranja Ananda Swami, Vishwa Ananda Swami was called Vishwananda and Kunju Swami was called Kunju. Of course, if someone named Kesava Swami came, Bhagavan would not hesitate calling him Kesava Swami, but the only person he renamed was Annamalaiswami. I asked Annamalaiswami how this happened. Annamalaiswami recounted. The very next day after I came to Bhagavan, he casually mentioned that I reminded him of a man called Annamalaiswami, an attendant of his at Kanda Ashramam who passed away in 1920. Bhagavan started to use this name as a nickname for me. When the other devotees heard this, they too followed suit. Within a few days, my new identity was firmly established. Because his surrender to Bhagavan was total, Bhagavan gave him his complete attention. The jnani is like a mirror. The way he responds to you reflects the way you approach him. If you surrender totally, the blessing is total. One day, he asked Bhagavan, "Give me some upadesa." Bhagavan answered, Go inwards and always hold on to the self. Identifying with the body and mind causes misery. Dive deep into the heart, the source of being and peace. Be established thus, always in your being. Look at this first. Upadesa of Bhagavan to Annamalaiswami. It is very important because Annamalaiswami himself later told me, at the time Ganesa, I did not know the significance of these words. The rest of my life is based on this very first Upadesa. I did not know or grasp the main meaning of this teaching. My vasanas came up and I started noticing others around Bhagavan at a very early stage. They were all gossiping and I did not like that. See the power of vasanas, the latent tendencies. He felt, yes, Bhagavan is great, but the people around him are going to distract me. So I will not stay here. Instead, I will go and do my spiritual practices elsewhere. Without even telling Bhagavan, he walked away. After nearly 20 miles, he felt very tired and hungry. At 200 houses, he begged, but nobody gave him even a morsel of food. Finally, when he did not know whom or where to turn to, somebody asked him, "Hey, why are you suffering? Where are you coming from?" "I am coming from Tiruvannamalai." "From where in Tiruvannamalai?" came the next question. "From Ramana Ashramam." Annamalaiswami replied. He was reprimanded. "You have come here from Ramana Ashramam and you are suffering. Fool, go back." "Fool, go back." At that moment, he decided to go back to Bhagavan. Immediately, everything started happening miraculously. An hotelier called him and gave him food. He then boarded a train to Tiruvannamalai without a ticket. The ticket inspector checked all the others in the compartment except him for tickets. Many things like this happened on his return journey to Tiruvannamalai. Falling at Bhagavan's feet, he revealed everything and begged him for forgiveness. And Bhagavan's glorious reply, "How can you escape? You have work to do here. If you try to leave without doing the jobs destined for you, where can you run away? Stay here." Once again, Annamalaiswami fell at Bhagavan's feet. "Bhagavan, whatever you tell me, I will do. I will not leave your presence." The very next day, when Annamalaiswami was serving Bhagavan, he turned to him. "Annamalaiswami, a wall is being built near the water tank. Go and see what work the mason is doing. He thought Bhagavan wanted information, so he went to the mason and questioned him. The mason replied, I am building this wall. He came back and reported to Bhagavan. The mason says he is building a wall. 5 times Bhagavan sent him back to find out what the mason was doing. The mason got really annoyed. Are you a fool? Are you an idiot? How many times do I have to tell you that I am building this wall? Then Annamalaiswami woke up. Why does Bhagavan send me repeatedly? Perhaps he wants me to supervise this work. First, he had thought Bhagavan wanted him to do some easy work. But when he held on to Bhagavan's earlier words, he understood that a cascade, an avalanche of work was going to come. One after another came in work, which was impossible for any one man to complete by his own effort. But complete a stupendous amount of construction work, Annamalaiswami certainly did. Today, people going to Ramana Ashramam can still see what this one man managed to accomplish. Work after work, physically painful work came. He had to often stand under the hot tropical sun next to where lime mortar, which produces intense heat, was being made. To add to his acute discomfort, the people around him, instead of appreciating his efforts, constantly ridiculed, chided, and insulted him. Okay, folks, let's continue in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupodu.